got time on my hands, it's a good day. No 9 to 5 to get in my way. Music's the key to all of my needs. A new life's waiting for me. I got a song in my heart, it's a good day. Let Frankie doing it my way. Finally free to be all I can be.
This is AC Low, or a.k.a. Anthony Lofaso, or the other way around, whatever way you like it. You're listening to the Centanni Broadcasting Network here in New York City, broadcasting high-definition digital stereo to the whole world. The whole world. Imagine that, the whole world. We're just a few steps north of 100th Street on Lexington Avenue, 1567. Lexington Avenue at Giovanna's Restaurant, the best in cuisine, the best in staff, the best in atmosphere, and the best in Centanni. Now, this evening, we are fortunate indeed to have the cast, crew, producers, actors and actresses and camera people and sound people and all the people, the whole group of the Meg Ramsey hit sitcom on, if you watch YouTube, and if you haven't, then you square. And you've been seeing this program, the Meg Ramsey. All these episodes are just wonderful. And we have with us to my left, Theresa Brown. Hello, Theresa. And I'm so glad to finally get you on Centanni Network.
Thank you very much.
Oh, well, I'm glad to. And then just across to me, diagonally, we have Paula Nance, who plays Babs on the Meg Ramsey episodes.
Hi, Anthony.
Nice to see you. And opposite me, and my knees are quaking and my feet are shaking and I'm vibrating all the way around. I have the actual physical Lindsey Wilson, who is the star of Meg Ramsey and plays Meg Ramsey. Hello, Lindsey. How are you?
Hello, great to be here.
It's wonderful to have all of you. And, you know, Theresa has been a supporter of Centanni from the beginning, I would say. And she supported us, and we really appreciate that. And we couldn't be happier to, you know, give a little payback, so to speak, because we love doing that. Now, I don't know where to start because there's so many places. Theresa, why don't you start? How did the Meg Ramsey thing come to be?
The Meg Ramsey thing came to be one day I was shooting some footage for another project that I had, and I was on 97th Street and Park Avenue shooting the railroads, and then I realized that I looked like I was some kind of terrorist clocking trains, so I moved away from there, and I called Lynn on the phone, and I said, girl, we got to do something. We got to do something because we're talented. You know, what can we do? And Lynn actually had this idea of a singer named Meg Ramsey, who actually was a robot. And Lynn's idea was really great, but sci-fi, too expensive. And I suggested, why couldn't she just be like a regular girl and, you know, let's see, you know, what kind of, you know, foibles she goes through trying to make it in the business. And that's literally how it started.
So this was originally going to be a sci-fi, but because of the cost and expense of explosions and, you know, and special effects, it's kind of hard to do on a basic budget.
That's right.
And that's the issue. So now you decide to do it. So you start writing, or you start brainstorming, or you...
We started brainstorming. Isn't that how we usually flow? We be brainstorming.
We be brainstorming a lot. That's where all of our ideas come out of conversations and kind of putting them out there into the air and then pulling them down and then putting them on paper, which is, you know, what Theresa's really, really great at.
Yeah, she's tremendous. She changed my lines about 25 times.
Yeah.
I have, you know,
Look for Anthony in season 2 of Meg Ramsey.
But she's really terrific at that. Now, did you determine the premise of the first season, or did you do this as you went along, like with episode 1, episode 2, or did you have a general idea? I mean, I'm going to guess that you knew she was going to leave the corporate world.
Yes,
you know, early on and go out on her quest for something better.
I would say, and you can correct me, we kind of mapped it out beforehand and then started filming. We didn't, you know, go step by step. We mapped out the whole season beforehand and then proceeded from there. And in doing that, I thought that Meg should have a best friend, and a crazy name like Babs from the 50s, and I literally did write that for one person, an actor that I know, and there she is.
Well, specifically. So you already envisioned Paula
Yes.
in this, and the role she was going to play, and how it was going to bounce off of. And did you know each other? Did you know each other?
No, we didn't.
No.
We didn't know each other initially, but I mean, as soon as we did meet, I had met Paula.
We met once.
Once, right? And then once we, met each other, we realized definitely Paula is the one. We just vibed naturally.
So you had that chemistry right away.
We did. It was incredible, really, and we met at a diner, and as often happens with our meetings, well, we're going to meet for 2 hours, and 4 hours later, they're sweeping the floor, asking us to please go home. But as we left that night, we talked about how easy the friendship between Meg and Babs would be because of how easily we were able to connect.
So this helps you when you're doing the work and in front of the camera. This also helps too, because you can bounce off of each other. I mean, you have your lines and you have your structure, but you never know what else is going to happen. That's a keeper.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, that's if you look at Meg Ramsey and you look at the episodes, it's exactly that. I mean, we have the wonderful lines, the dialogue. It makes it really easy when it's good dialogue. But then, after we memorize it, then it's a lot of intuitive feelings that are involved, that allow us to bounce off each other and just almost, make it as natural as possible, make it as normal as possible, and I think we've been able to accomplish that.
Plus, it's a genuine, since these two ladies genuinely like each other,
Right.
that part doesn't have to be acted, and I think that helps immensely with portraying these two women as friends, because...
Absolutely, because... when you have a situation like that where there is not the free flow of energy between all of the characters,
deadly.
it just makes the job tougher.
Jagged.
Actors have brought themselves through those things, and that's really a tough job. But when the job is a lot of fun, it's not a job anymore. It becomes a great creation.
So we made it easy for you, Paul. We
Really?
We made it easy. We wrote it for you. I gave you a real friend, and you're practically not even acting.
Well, thanks. No, that's all talent, you see. But I mean, what really is exciting is, I've often said I don't need to be rich and famous, but I do want to be out of debt and in demand. And part of that in demand, for
our listening audience, just lay down that rule again. I think it's a real good one.
For
you
everyone.
Out of debt and in demand.
I said it first here. No, I don't need
You're
to be rich
heard on
and famous.
Centanni
On the
live.
LOWE Show.
But I do, and part of that in demand, every actor loves to have someone who's good at what they do call them and say, I've written something for you, would you please read it and let me know what you think. And when I remember, it was the weekend of Thanksgiving a year and a half ago. It was the week of Thanksgiving, because I was walking down the sidewalk with my Aunt Melba, who was in town, and
Aunt Melba?
Aunt Melba.
Yeah, that's
and hi, Aunt Melba. And so, but I remember Theresa saying, I've got this, and would you mind, would I mind, please send it. And as soon as I read Babs, I fell in love with her. She's a great character.
Teresa has that little way, she says, would you mind if I do, and what about,
Theresa has a great way with dialogue. It's not a lot of people who can do that, mind you.
The creation of dialogue.
The creation of dialogue, to make it conversational, to make it relaxed, to make it normal, to make it not sound stilted. And Theresa has that knack for a lot of the work that she's done, a lot of the projects that she's worked on. If you look at some of her dialogue, it's really crisp and fun to do, actually.
Well, if I had that knack, it can't be. It can't be perfected unless I have people to really say it well. And I'm telling you, Mutual Admiration Society. But no, really, you guys are making my words sound really well.
And you are the technical person here as well. Tell us a little bit about the challenges of writing the dialogue, taking care of the actors, figuring out the next step, getting the camera sighted in place, doing the sound, and then doing the cuts and the editing, and make it all come out as Meg Ramsey.
It's all easy because I'm doing what I love.
Wow.
I'm doing what I love to do. It's a very small scale compared to like sets that you've been on, but I really like what I'm doing, so it doesn't feel like work at all.
I'm going to remind her that next time she can get the mic to set it, right? It's all easy. Because you're doing what you love.
Lovingly, of course, Theresa.
Take us through your typical day. When you know you're going to shoot that day, and let's say you're going to start episode, let's just say for the sake of discussion, you're going to start episode 2 this morning. And what are the things that you have to do? Because I'm going to each ask, you can think about it. I'm going to ask each one in their turn how you prepare for your lines, how you do the different. What do you do?
Well, for me, my main thing is just checking my equipment. Making sure that the battery has juice. Making sure there's maybe no hair in the lens. Just making sure my equipment is okay, because I unlike Hitchcock, I don't have a storyboard, because it really is all in my head, and just making sure that my equipment is okay is 3/4 of the battle.
And then you go to the location.
Then we go to a location, and
how long does it take you to set up the shot?
It probably doesn't take me as long as it took me to do this, because it would just be me and my camera handheld, waiting for traffic. It doesn't really take that long, but the preparation before, as I said, is just making sure my equipment is okay.
Now, do you use the mic on the camera?
No, I have
another boom mic.
Right, I have an external mic, the Sennheiser, that I got from Professional Sound Services, Eric, and that's been a saving grace for this project. Having good sound, people might forgive a bad picture, but they won't forgive bad sound. So
you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I prepare.
Yeah, that's very critical. Now, knowing that you have 2 wonderful actors here to work with, how many takes do you usually have to do?
Here we go. This is where it gets juicy.
I knew it was going to be. This is the inside scoop now on Meg Ramsey.
Oh boy.
The spontaneous Meg Ramsey.
I get the take that works the best. And I don't care how long it takes.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, we're running out of time at the studio, or it's so cold that our fingers are frozen off, or
we're about to pass out from
yes,
heat
so
exhaustion.
then we settle for it.
No length of time for your art.
These guys hit the ground running.
You're going to hit the ground running.
Hit the
All
ground.
right, so now, Paula, when you're preparing, you know what you're going to say the next day. Is it on your mind, or you practice the lines, or you kind of put it, memorize it and put it away and do something else? I mean, everybody has their own technique. Everyone has it, and whatever works for that person.
Well, for me, learning lines is one of the things that I do. It's part of being an actor. So, and we don't have the kind of budget which says we're going to do episode 2 on Tuesday. We might do one part of episode 2 on Tuesday, and then we might do some other part of episode 2 2 weeks later. We've been filming one of the episodes for season 2 for weeks now, because we've got to wait until it's warm enough for this little southern girl to go outside in the park and be filmed.
Temperamental. They can't take the cold. They can't. David Lean, he did Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago.
So you were saying that you memorize your lines, or you learn your lines, or
right, and then
depending what school of thought in acting there is, some people learn their lines, others say, "Oh, you never learn." And some people memorize. No, you never memorize.
I'll give you an example. We were going to tape a telephone conversation, just my end of a telephone conversation, in November. So I learned the lines in November, and something happened that one day, and then we got together in December, but when we were filming, we ran out of time in the space.
Hold that thought 1 minute. We have to pay the bills here on Centanni Network, and we will be back with the whole Meg Ramsey crew right after this message. Hey, we're back here with the Meg Ramsey crew. What? This place is packed. Standing room only here at the Giovanni's Restaurant on 1567 Lexington Avenue, and we're talking with the Meg Ramsey crew, cast, direction, production, etc., 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 etc. And we're talking with Paula, and Paula was going to tell us her top secrets of the acting profession, as from her perspective. Now, you learned your lines, and
well, I was just saying that there was a scene that we were going to film back before the holidays, and we literally ran out of time in the space where we were. So Theresa and I said, okay, well, we'll catch it in January. And then, so again, I pulled out the script and sort of went over the lines. And there weren't very many of them. And one of the days we were supposed to get together, I don't remember why, but at some point we were supposed to do this about 4 different times and it didn't happen.
Yes.
And when we finally sat down to do it about 2 weeks ago, we had a space, we had the phone, life was great. And all of a sudden I looked at Theresa and went, those lines. No. I had them, but we had changed a few of them, and we needed to just.
Oh, really? You changed some?
Well, the thing
unusual.
is, well, we've talked about the brainstorming that goes on ahead of time.
Yeah.
And Theresa writes, as Lindsey was saying, Theresa writes great dialogue.
Yeah, the ideas are evolving. I'm only kidding about all of that. I think it's very good. I think it's important, and the idea continues to evolve, and it's going to evolve and evolve and evolve until it's executed.
Well, and what's
that's
also
just the way it
fun
works
is
sometimes.
that, and Theresa will say this to me every now and then. She'll say, "How about if you ad-lib while as I'm moving off you onto the boat behind you, or what if you throw something else in here?" And for me as an actor, that's incredibly exciting. Right. When the director appreciates me enough to not just listen to what I have to say, but actually to ask me to throw something in there, Paula, and let's see.
Well, it's a collaborative team effort, which so far has been very, very successful. Definitely. Now, Lindsey, what do you do when you know you're going to work that day? You know the script from top to bottom, and just pull it out as it's called upon, or you get back at it that day or the night before?
Yeah, pull it out, Lynn. Pull it
out. Well, actually, what I do is I look at the script, and I really I have tremendous respect for the craft of acting. It is a wonderful craft, and I really applaud Paula for her art, because it is a profession. I am not an actor, I'm a musician. And preparing for these scenes does require a sense of discipline that, it's really underrated. People don't realize it until you have to actually look at the scenes, put emotions into the words, and at the same time, mind you, be as natural as possible. It's a little bit of a conundrum, isn't it? And you're just saying, okay, read these lines you've never seen before and be natural. And you're like, well, I'm reading it like this, and I think I'm natural. Isn't that natural? Because I'm not missing I'm reading everything. And then you have to calm down, which I had to do as I started to really get into my character of Meg Ramsey. Once I created the character, it made reading the dialogue a lot easier. But when I was trying to find out who Meg was and put that all together, it didn't sound as natural in the beginning. And Theresa, being a director, would bring that to my attention. And then once I got it, now, I know who Meg is, I'm comfortable with her, and now the lines run smoothly. But usually I will look at them, I will look at the lines, I will try to get the emotion involved, what the words actually mean, what the scene means. It's not even about reading the words per se. It's about knowing what the words and the dialogue means in the scene, because there's intentions and all types of things involved.
Yeah. Now, Theresa and I were talking just before the program, and that's a great thing of the action between the director and the actor, and the director being willing to allow some latitude so that natural can come out. Sometimes the script is such that it's very difficult because the actor doesn't talk that way and really has to change gears to make that all happen, which is part of what the actor does. And sometimes it's a lot easier when you try and find out where that all is at one time, and then everything can flow so much smoother. It might mean the change of a word here or there. Now, we were speaking that there are some directors and writers, of course, that are adamant about the exact word that they wrote down. It took them 10 years of not eating and not being able to pay the rent to write that gosh darn word, and now you're going to change it because you don't feel it. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. Well, it's obviously successful.
There's a movie that Bette Davis did, All About Eve, directed by Joseph Mankiewicz, and they didn't change one syllable. They didn't change one word, one preposition, nothing, because the script was perfect and the actors realized it. And since I write perfectly, there you.
Now the script was perfect for those actors, or perfect in the way it was put together?
It was perfect for the way it was put together.
I see.
And they didn't change a word. I mean, Betty Davis said it was perfect. So some directors are adamant and some are collaborative, and we've tried to have hopefully a free-flowing relationship with Meg Ramsey, and I think everybody's gotten their input in about what they see and want for their characters.
I think that you've achieved that, quite obviously. That's why I think the show is, everyone that sees it enjoys it. I know that I enjoyed it from the first episode. I like the concept of someone turning their back on the corporate world, so the premise is established. And I'm here to tell everyone listening to this program that Meg Ramsey is really a great show. It's a good show, and it's a show that deserves to be in place of some of the stuff we have on the big networks right now. The premise, the acting, and the writing is just as good, and in my mind, better.
If you know someone, Anthony, let them know.
Let's see what happens. We've had people listen to our programs, Bill Russo's show, and other shows, and it has helped them. So we hope that this helps out. Now, I want to talk about one particular scene where Paula and Lindsey go into a clothing store on 6th Avenue. And it's a subject close to my heart, because when you reach my stage, and notice that part of the word stage,
what stage is
part of the word stage has age in it, A-G-E. When you say stage, and there's also A. And so when you reach my stage, it was I was very sensitive about that scene, and I cried after when I said. Not so much for the acting, but for the science.
Meg Ramsey has pathos. So.
Talk about that a little bit. You go in there to buy some clothing.
Yeah.
And went with your friend, and two girls out shopping and going to a boutique, a little something, and what happened in there?
Go ahead, Paula.
Well, we go in to buy clothes, and it's a store that has a policy. It clearly puts.
Now this will look great
Now
on
that's
you.
cute.
I love that for you. Not so much for me, but for you, that's good.
Why not?
Oh, well, it's yellow. I don't know. But I do like this. It's very Phyllis Diller.
Good afternoon, ladies. May I assist you with something?
My friend is starting a new career as a singer, and she needs a new look.
Honey, how old are you?
Oh, I'm not buying. I'm with her.
Oh, I'm old enough to shop. I've been shopping since I was a teenager.
I'm sorry. Our age limit is 30.
Oh, that's okay. I'm over 30.
Excuse me, sweetie, but did you see what the sign reads over here?
Oh, you've got to be kidding. Babs?
Oh, that is cute. Ooh, cute.
Oh, this is against the law. It's ageist, and I'm out of here.
I might have that in your size. What are your size 4?
Oh, aren't you kind? A 6.
I'll be right back.
Fake ID. Don't leave home without it, because you never know when it doesn't pay to be a cougar.
What does your friend do?
We cut to Babs, who's blissfully looking through the clothes, and pulls out a fake ID, and shows it, and the woman nods and goes to get her a tiny little size of a dress. And I'm not, I mean, Theresa's the one who wrote this, but all three of us, it resounded with that. I have walked into stores in Newark, not where there's a sign on the wall, but where clearly I'm not the person that they think is going to be buying something in that store. And they don't talk to
target marketing group.
Exactly. One of the whippersnappers who's chomping gum and, pricing things is doesn't come over to me because I'm obviously not hip enough to wear their clothes. But my favorite part of this, and Theresa and Lindsey both know this, my 7-year-old twin nieces watch the show, and almost every episode they'll go, "Auntie Paula, we loved it. We have questions." And one of my nieces said to me, "What was the age on the ID?" And I said, "Well, you saw the sign. It had to be less than 30. But what was the age?" I said, "Well, it was 28 or 29. What? Which what?" I said, "It was 28. It was 28." And she says, "Auntie Paula, that is very far away."
Well, again, this being a collaborative effort, Paula was instrumental in us getting that location of Backwoods.
Right.
And all of us have been taking turns in seeking out businesses to give us locations, which keeps our costs down. And we're very grateful to all those locations who've opened up their doors, including Giovanna's.
That's right.
Thank you, Giovanna. Thank you, Divino.
Thank you.
And so this is a grassroots effort as well. And that
Totally
you're searching
grassy roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Weeds,
It's
a couple
about,
of weeds, some
kind of-
bushes.
It's bush, weeds, and shrubbery. I mean, it's very important. I mean, to stress the fact of independence, independent artists. And that has a wide range there. Meg did leave corporate America. I can't say that most people would do that nowadays, but the spirit of it, to be able to leave something that is so stable and do something that you absolutely love to do, is the message that we try to kind of put forth there, to kind of say, follow your dream, get on your own journey, create your own oasis. It's okay. And Meg Ramsey supports that vision, and that's how we are able to, work with independent restaurants, stores, spaces, to say, hey, we support you. We'll, if you work with us, we'll work with you, and together we all win. Everybody wins, in the Meg Ramsey Meg Head team.
Hey, talk about ones and fives. We have to pay the bills again, so we'll be back in a minute after this message with the whole Meg Ramsey crowd. 1567 Lexington Avenue, the best in cuisine, the best in staff, the best in atmosphere, and the best in Centanni. And we are very fortunate indeed to be joined by my mentor and the host of the flagship program of the Centanni Network, the Bill Russo Show, none other than Bill Russo. Good evening, Bill. How are you?
Good evening, Anthony, and thank you for having me on your program, the AC LOWE Show. It's a great program tonight. It's great to share this mic with the cast and the creative people of Meg Ramsey, Theresa, Lindsey, and Paula.
Thank you.
All of them are very, very talented. And what we wanted to do, Lindsey has offered to give us a sample of the Meg Ramsey theme song. And I think that's better than a recording. I think that'd be terrific. So what can we do to, I know Theresa and Paula are going to join in. I'll see if I can stay in the background a little bit, not disrupt you.
Any type of backup is fine. You can clap, sing, whistle.
Well, be careful, because I'm a doo-wop man. You don't want a guy like me behind you. So.
Well, doo-wop. Do it.
Okay, you go.
Okay. I got a song in my heart, it's a good day. No 9 to 5 to get in my way. Music's a key to all of my needs. A new life's waiting for me. I got a song in my heart, it's a good day. Like Frankie doing in my way. Finally free to be all I can be. Got some living to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now you wrote that as well?
Yes.
Okay, so this idea came to you for Meg Ramsey, or you had it before that? Or?
Well, you know what? Yeah, I had it. I had a song called "Uptight Good Way," and I really liked the music behind that. It was piffy, it was upbeat, it was light, and I wanted to. Actually, I shared that music with Theresa, and I said to myself, let me see if I can find some lyrics that are going to. That would be similar to Mary Tyler Moore, and
It tells Meg's story a little bit.
And it tells Meg's story and within like a minute's time, because that's what theme songs do. They get you in the mood, you're snapping your fingers, and then you're going into the episode. So I took the music and I thought a few lyrics, and I put in Frank Sinatra. I thought that was great to kind of encompass doing it my way, because that's what Meg is doing it. She's doing it her way. And that's how it was born. And I introduced it to Theresa, and she loved it, and
I think it's a great idea, and I think it works so well because you wanted to leave the corporate world. Meg wanted to leave the corporate world because she really can sing, and you really can sing, and so that was your motivation because people want to perform their art, no matter what the cost, no matter what the cost. What do you think about that, Bill?
Well, first of all, I think it's a fantastic idea. You all are full of energy, and I think in some ways the concept is a metaphor for life, for people who want to leave a circumstance, regardless of what that circumstance is. It could be a relationship, it could be employment, it could be anything that you make that final decision, I'm out of here, right. And you go and explore your creative dreams. Now I know Jackie Gleason did that, but he never was a success according to Alice. But what I want to ask is, from any one of you, have you had any personal experiences that informs you relative to your creation, Theresa, and the acting in your own lives, where you left a situation and you were the better for it when you look back?
And that's how I feel right now. I worked in advertising, I've worked in media, I've worked in television, I've worked in radio, and I would like to feel like I think I was really good for a lot of these companies, giving them great ideas and a lot of my energy. When I peeled off and decided to go freelance, I was very excited, and I went for it with reckless abandon, and I'm still here. I didn't shrivel up and die and turn into, some powder. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but I am free, and the struggle continues, but I see that this gives me an opportunity for my art to get out there, and it's gotten out there a lot more now than ever.
That's what we want to do here on Centanni. We are an internet radio station, and our goal, our mission, at least for Bill and I, is to offer opportunities to as many people as we can that may not have that same opportunity right now with Warner Brothers or Paramount Studios or CBS. And there's no shortage of ideas, concepts. There's no shortage of talent here in New York City. We've had on probably 35 or 40 jazz singers, and I'm sure that if I said their name, you wouldn't know who they were. And they are wonderful singers. They've been working at their art for 20 years or 30 years. Their soul is into it. But because it doesn't hit the monetary button, there's a whole part of the world that says, well, they're not really in it. That's not true. We don't agree with that. People have a lot more inside them than what generates a profit. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong, and you see by how many commercials we have. But that's why I think that's the service that Centanni provides, and I'm glad to have all of you here this evening. It's really it's a joy for me, and I know that Bill is enjoying it as well, and I know that the audience is enjoying it. We're very fortunate tonight to have another supporter with us. Manuelita Fredrickson is here tonight, and comes out to us and supports us, and a fan of Centanni, and all of you that listen to Centanni and listen to the AC Lowe Show. It is much appreciated. Now, Lindsey, I'd like you to give us a setup of one of the tunes that you brought with us this evening.
Sure. It would be a pleasure.
Which one is that?
It's called Kaleidoscope Melodies. It's kind of a wonderful. It's actually track one. I think she has
Kaleidoscope Melody, and you wrote it?
I did write it. Inspired by a beautiful sunny day in the park.
Okay.
Let's hope we have more sunny days.
Your mouth to God's ears.
Right?
Okay,
that's the change we need. All right.
The Kaleidoscope Melody.
With all the troubles in the world, I can still see love, and with some certainty, I can still believe in good things yet to be. I'm getting that special calling, telling me to listen to my heart.
back here at Giovanni's on 1567 Lexington Avenue with the Meg Ramsey crowd. Hey, that was a beautiful tune, Lindsey. We really enjoyed it. And you obviously have a talent for writing and for singing and for acting as well, and taking good direction.
Folks can hear all of Lynn's songs on Meg Ramsey. So if you tune into our web series, Meg Ramsey, at www.megramsey.com, you'll hear all of Lynn's songs. And we're also wanting to give an opportunity to other independent artists to be a part of our show, and we can spotlight them as well. But for our first season, you can hear all of Lynn's songs on our website.
Yeah. That's a terrific opportunity. Now, how do people get to see the show? Let's go over that again.
Well, if anyone is interested in looking at our web series, they can go to www.megramsey.com, and if they Google Meg Ramsey or go on YouTube, they'll see our web series that way as well.
So there's two ways. You can go to YouTube, just type in Meg Ramsey.
Exactly.
And all the episodes are available on YouTube?
They can see all the episodes on YouTube, and if they go to our website and they go to the episode guide, they'll see all of the episodes, starting from episode 1 all the way to episode 10. And our web series will be 10 episodes. They're about 5 to 8 minutes each. You'll chuckle, you'll smile, you'll probably recognize things that have happened to yourself if you are, if you have a creative bent. So, please check us out.
You'll also recognize many locations in New York, and New York is really one of the other characters. It starring Lindsey Wilson, featuring Paula Nance, and expansively celebrating New York City. Theresa loves New York. She was born here and has lived here, and it's fascinating for me because I've lived here for 12 years.
And where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina.
All right.
Golly.
Says the woman from Virginia. But at any rate. But New York really does feature, and there have been times when Theresa and I have been freezing, because I do sometimes deigned to be filmed in scenes outside in the cold. The first episodes we filmed, Theresa had me outside because she wanted Tiffany's in the background, and I was freezing. And then we moved over to Rockefeller Center, and you can hear the flags flapping in the background.
Paula is a true artist. She hung in there.
And didn't look cold.
She didn't look cold. She didn't act cold. And on
You
the
were
other
supposed
end,
to act like it was a summer day.
well, she acted like
That's real acting. I like that.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, Lynn and I did a scene in Brooklyn Heights. It was in the 90s, and I almost fainted, but we got the shot. And in that shot, you'll see the Brooklyn Bridge in the background, and we're going to do anything to spotlight New York because it's New York.
And we love it.
Yeah, the most photographed, the most filmed city in the world.
I just want to mention that Theresa has an incredible knowledge, like Google or the IBM computer, of movie, film,
she does.
TV history that she could probably tell. When you were talking about
Unbelievable, yeah.
the Brooklyn Bridge and skyline in the background, I was tempted to ask Theresa, well, tell me about some of the movies that were filmed in that exact spot where you were filming.
Well,
She can give you the rundown, I'm sure.
I can't think of any at this second, but I did have an opportunity to be on Turner Classic Movies as a guest fan programmer, and that was a great experience. And everything that I'm doing with Meg Ramsey, I'm informed by my love of classic films. So, you know, if anything looks kind of Doris Day, Rock Hudson-ish, Eve Arden-ish, that's due to my love of classic films.
And you can see, I mean, I love being in a scene that Theresa has framed in such a way that it's not just an opportunity to get lines across and to develop a relationship, but the scene itself is framed in a way that tells a story. One of my very favorite scenes, and I had to wait until we did the commentary to see it, because not only can you watch the episodes, but if you go to www.megramsey.com to our website and go to the special features section, you can hear the commentary and see our Meg Head Chronicle interviews and
clips, right?
So you can see Theresa take a nosedive into the snow where she filmed herself.
Adorable.
It really is. But in episode 4, I believe, Theresa filmed that down at Battery Park, and there's a phone call that gets made that's a little threatening, and Theresa has filmed it in such a way that there's a statue that's actually in the water on one of the piers down there,
Exactly.
and that's where your eye goes. So it's a web series with film noir, that moment anyway.
Right, exactly.
Moments because Theresa's camera is telling a story just as much as the dialogue and the relationship.
And we've done a lot of traveling too. I mean, we're traveling. We are capturing New York, but we're also capturing Virginia. We're in the second season looking to go into North Carolina.
Woo-hoo.
So, you know, and in fact, the episode up now, episode 7, is Home Sweet Home, and where we go to Virginia. And, you know, my family is featured there because they're based in Virginia. And so we're going all over. It's wonderful to be in New York, but we're actually going out there without the major budget. But we're actually
major budget
to different
without
locations.
the budget.
Yeah, so that makes it even more exciting and more, I think, endearing for all of the, you know, people who are out there who are seeing this, that we're making things happen, you know, regardless.
Well, it's a wonderful obviously a collaborative effort of love, talent, and appeal. And the idea is great. The show is great. The people who do it are great. Those of you who aren't yet listening to Meg Ramsey, watching Meg Ramsey, you should do so. And Theresa told you can go to the website, and Theresa's going to give you that website again the third time. So shame on you if you don't write it down and do it.
Anthony.
I mean, come on, just do it.
Carefully, folks.
Say it
If
again.
you want to have a great time looking at wonderful acting, listening to great songs, please go to www.megramsey.com. You won't regret it. We're having a great time, and I think you'll enjoy it as well.
and it's a great. You were talking about the scenes from New York. I love that. In fact, I challenge myself when I see different scenes in different movies, old TV shows, and so on, and I try to pick the spot out very quickly. I hope most times, especially in stuff from the 50s and 60s, when you look at how New York City looked and how it looks now, and all the things that go on. It's just a wonderful, wonderful way to be.
I was in South Carolina recently, and at at the Art Museum in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes.
And one of the people who works there says, our next exhibit is the one that has the Tina Turner poster that's in your Meg Ramsey series.
There you go.
All right, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Ding, 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 ding.
Fantastic. I like South Carolina. I spent a lot of time there. That's just an aside, what we call in the radio business an aside, not related to the topic at hand and nothing to do with the show. Call it aside, technically.
Well, here's something to do with the show. If you tune into www.megramsey.com every other Monday, that's when we upload a new episode. Again, the episodes are very short, they're very sweet, and we know that you will enjoy it.
They're doggone funny.
They are
It's
funny.
funny.
Yeah,
It's
they are.
fun,
Because the premise
humorous,
works. The premise works. That's
And Anthony, you have to have these fine women back
absolutely.
for a repeat
They will
performance
return.
and keep
And
us
I
informed
know
how
that
they're
episode
doing,
that
how Meg
season
Ramsey's
2,
doing.
Yeah, season 2's in production right now, even
right,
as we
right
speak. We can't let the cat out of the bag, other than you say what what we've said this evening. I see by the shadow on the floor. It's very, very discouraging. It's disappointing. It's disillusioning. Give me some more dis words. It's distracting.
Disappointing.
Despairing. But
I'm busy smelling the garlic. I'm sorry. What are you guys talking about?
I'm
Yummy.
really sorry, but this show, we're going to put another one in the record books, Bill. This show, the AC Low Show, is coming to its conclusion.
Anthony,
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Lindsey, from Paula, and I, we thank you very much
Thank you.
for having us on your show.
Thank you, all of you, for coming. We really appreciate it. And from New York, this is AC Low saying tune in next week. And don't forget to stay right where you are and listen to the Bill Russo Show immediately following this program. I mean, immediately. It's not even going to be like a half a second. It's going to follow this program immediately.
Literally.
From New York, this is AC Low. Good night. See you next week. Hey!
I got time on my hands, it's a good day. No 9 to 5 to get in my way. Music's the key to all of my needs. A new life's waiting for me. I got a song in my heart, it's a good day. Let Frankie doing it my way. Finally free to be all I can be. Got some little